Right then, that was Pandemonium, and in the studio I've got Pandemonium incarnate. Yes, Jaz Coleman from Killing Joke.
Yeah.
Legend.
Oh, yeah.
Now, legend after I saw you in Kerrang, on the Kerrang Awards on stage.
It's the We Won't Cough Award.
Yeah, well, there was that. Speaking of which, the bloke from the Foo Fighters would he? He would not leave the stage.
He's pissed out of his head, Dave, that night.
Yeah, he was, but he was, you know, I never knew. I don't think anybody ever knew that he was. Probably he didn't know that he was such a huge fan. That Killing Joke was such a huge, influential band for him.
Yeah, and look, well, it sort of went back because we had a bit of you can read it all in the manager of Nirvana's sort of autobiography, but basically they nicked a song off us. They actually Nirvana nicked "Come As You Are" from Killing Joke, and we had a court case coming up with them. And then he shot his head off, and we decided it just wasn't worth it, and we let it go.
Right.
And so, like, he's always been nice to us ever since.
Yeah.
I've never spoken to Courtney Love, and I don't suppose I ever will. She whiffs a bit, apparently.
She whiffs a bit. Yeah. She whiffs a bit.
Yeah, she's a bit smelly, apparently.
Not that she smells, but not in the sense that she smells anything, but people smell her.
That's right. Yeah. Is she your kind of girl?
I've got no idea. I couldn't possibly comment.
So yeah, it was nice. Dave's a lovely guy, actually. You know, sometimes like yourself and people like Dave, wealth doesn't really affect people, and they're nice, easygoing people. Hey,
it's affected me.
Has it?
Lack of it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Oh.
No, joking aside, and all the rest of it. You still based out of New Zealand?
Well, I stay in Prague because I've got to conduct 2 orchestras there. And
what?
Prague.
Prague?
Yeah.
Did you say you were conducting orchestras?
That's what I do for a living when I'm not doing Killing Joke.
Right.
Yeah, and I've just got a job with Sydney Symphony Orchestra for about a year. I've got 8 concerts to do with them. So I kind of go from conducting orchestras and then to the madness of the boys and with Killing Joke, and we all live in Prague. And then I go from there back to New Zealand and there to Geneva and you know why I do that, don't you?
No.
Because I expect the streets to be lit and I hate the taxman.
You hate the taxman? But hang on a minute. Just a second, just a minute. Hang on. I'm going to have to call you on this because, I mean, me being a generally sort of like capitalist swine, I can sort of go, oh yes, I don't like taxes and all the rest of it. I don't know anybody actually that does, but how does this jive? Because you sort of...
I live like...
how does this jive with your self-sufficiency and the whole thing and everything else? Because I mean, you were in New Zealand, and the last time we met, which was 2 or 3 years ago, you were quite the almost. I don't know what the political agenda was, but it didn't sound like it was a Tory party.
Well, I don't vote, dear boy. I just don't vote. I mean,
it's not quite the. That's not quite the same thing.
My politics are green, if you want to know, because bottom line is, I think that there's not enough water in the damn world, and we are heading for an eco meltdown, and I don't. I mean, it's happening. All the weather conditions around the world and everything. These kind of things do concern me. And when you look at places like Argentina, where the credit cards didn't work one day, and I do fear that we could be heading for an economic meltdown the way things are going. And well, England anyway. I've not been here for like 25 years now.
Yeah.
And I leave that for people like you, to Mr. Blair and all that sort of thing. That's your choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there's no difference really between, who are you going to vote for?
No, but I'm just curious about the concept of diving out of taxes as a sort of.
Well, basically, it works like this: you can't stay anywhere for more than 3 months.
Yeah, but there's in just the general sort of principle. There's a green sort of bod. I mean, because New Zealand has one of the most eco-friendly policies in the world, doesn't it?
Pretty much.
And that's all paid for by taxes.
Well, yeah, I don't live there all the time. I can do I can do 4 months in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And that's my limit.
And you pay 4 months worth of tax, do you?
No, they take off a withholding tax. But they still.
No, but what I'm getting at is that surely if you live in a place and you're a green sort of a bloke, surely.
Yeah. Well, I've just changed my mind. I'm an offshore socialist now.
Right, Jaz Coleman, offshore socialism. On that thing, I think we should. I think what's required is we need to go and do a quick exorcism on you.
On BBC Six Music.
Before the trail there, you heard Exorcism, and that was from Killing Joke, and Jaz Coleman's my guest, sitting here.
Yeah, here we are again.
Here we are again.
Yeah,
Go see Team America. If you are you a Thunderbirds fan? Remember Thunderbirds? They were the little wooden puppets. Yeah. Well, Team America is sort of like grown-up Thunderbirds puppets. Very grown-up Thunderbirds puppets in one case. Yes. But we'll draw a veil swiftly over that and talk about the touring you've just been doing. Because you've just done some gigs over here, haven't you?
Yeah, I've done, we just finished off the other night at like the Astoria, but we're doing sort of festivals all summer, and at the same time recording our new album in sort of different war zones. You know, I went to like Uzbekistan to put strings down. I went to like South Lebanon to put like percussion down, and I've been all over different places. I went to Taiwan to put some vocals down, just in like really shitty little studios, and the new album's called Hosannas from the Basements of Hell, because they're basement recordings. A bit like sort of when Metallica did the Garage Land EP sort of thing. We decided, after sort of getting a bit too pro-tooled up on the last album, there wasn't enough sort of a live feel on it, so we decided to go the opposite way on the next record. However, we haven't got that now, but that's what's that's what I've been doing. And the one thing I really hated about it was breaking down the studio and getting ready for like gigs, and then going back into the studio, and it's kind of been a mental sort of process. But yeah, I wanted to sort of do it in like dirt cheap, grubby little studios in really revolting parts of the world. That was my sort of idea for the next record.
And does it? I mean, does it sound any good?
Sounds great.
Does it?
Yeah.
What were the ramifications of doing it in a war zone? I mean, was it actually... When you say a war zone, I mean, were bullets flying, or what was...
You know, like Taiwan, I've got a feeling that there's a lot of tension there with China, and sooner or later something might happen, especially with people like Bush around. So I just wanted to sort of pick up tensions, but I got a completely different result. I mean, the album's a lot more cheerful than the last one, and it's not about anything political or wars or anything like that. It's about celebrating life, and it's more tribal. And I found my spirits up, actually. I go into these war zones, I expected it to sort of be doom and gloom and the atmosphere I get out of the music, but it was actually the opposite. It was quite uplifting. You'll see for yourself.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
This is next track is called that you've picked anyway. It's called Savage Freedom.
Yeah.
Tell me about this one.
That was that album actually is my favourite track off that album. It was recorded in sort of about 2 weeks. That album, the writing and recording, we just slammed it down. It's just one of my favourite tracks off that album.
Right, we've already talked about some of your plans. You've just been touring and stuff like that. What are you going to be up to over the course of the next year? Right,
next year we're going to probably do like one main gig in England, just one big one, probably Brixton Academy. Not big by your stands, but
Brixton Academy's pretty big. Yeah.
It's pretty big, yeah. So we're going to do just one gig in England next year. That's it, and we're going to go to Angkor Wat, which is a sort of temple in Cambodia, and we're going to do a live DVD and play just new music there. And
fascinating.
Yeah, it'll be great fun. And we're doing a tour, a sponsored piss-up of the colonial bars of the world. Don't you like that idea?
I love that idea.
And
who's sponsoring it?
Well, we're doing it for it's called Forest in a Day, where we're going to hopefully plant a whole forest in one day, sort of, because I don't like people decide to go into sort of charity for trees and shit like that.
Yeah.
They don't answer back, eh? And so
bark is worth their bite.
Sorry. So yeah, we're organising that for next year.
Yeah.
And we're starting off at Hotel Windsor in Cairo. Then we're going to Nairobi from there, New Delhi from there to Hong Kong to the Northerners Club in Auckland to Gracie's in Samoa, and from there to the Caribbean.
Do you need an airplane and a pilot?
Well, I was just coming to that, Bruce.
Hey, I'll get you 757, mate. We're off.
Will the 757 make it?
Oh God, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we're looking at things a little bit lightheartedly in the next year. And,
well, that sounds absolutely fantastic.
And having a good year, and then I'll take a year off after that.
No, it sounds like you need it.
Yeah.
Last track is from your live album, which is out. Is it out now? Is it out now? It's to mark the 25th anniversary. What label's it on? It's on
I think Cooking Vinyl.
Cooking Vinyl, right? And it's out now. It's called the what gathering? 25th gathering
That's right.
of Killing Joke.
It's
And
actually, we've done 27 years, but they said 25 sounds better.
okay, and this track's called Psyche. Psyche, and it's live, and it's Killing Joke. Jaz Coleman, thank you very much for being my guest
It's great
tonight.
to see you again, Chris.
Yeah, and that round the world tour sounds absolutely cracking.
You know, but dress code, eh? At
Dress
3
code.
o'clock. G&T's at 3 o'clock.
I'm there.